So, what is the secret cause of addiction? Hey guys, it's John out here in my back deck on a partly cloudy day. The sun will be coming in and out as I talk, I'm sure. Did you know that in the United States, over 20 million people say or believe that they have an addiction of some variety, be it alcohol addiction or cigarette addiction or drug addiction or sex addiction or pizza addiction, whatever addiction. Over 20 million people believe they have an addiction. When you look at addiction from the perspective of the experience people are having from addiction, what 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 you very quickly discover is they don't feel good in their life. They don't feel positive about their outcome. They don't think they can achieve anything. They don't feel good. They just don't feel good. And they latch onto some substance which allows them to feel good. They give this substance permission to feel good. Now, from my personal teachings that I believe that God is love and fear is the opposite. And when we don't feel good, it's because there's a fear associated in some form. Now, when you look at addiction, it's a fascinating conversation because if they're not feeling good and they're in some sort of fear and anxiety or stress, which is anxiety and stress are fear, when you come from that perspective, you start to realize that they're in fear. And what they're doing is they're going out and they're finding some substance that makes them no longer feel their fear. They're literally medicating their fears. And when we talk about fear, in other videos, we talked about the idea that in the present moment, fear is just an emotional reaction, but it's an emotional reaction to past experience or some future event that will probably go bad. So we focus on it being a bad outcome. And that idea of the focus of that makes us fear even more. And so when we look at fear, we look at in the present moment, all it is an emotional reaction to how we're feeling about something. But we have the option to make a choice and understand we can choose something different. When we're looking at fear in this way, we look at it from the mental struggle, which is what we just discussed about past experience and future outcomes. But when you look at it from the physical aspect of it, the first thing we do is we draw a bunch of air into our lungs. We actually hold our breath when we're in some sort of fear. So we hold our breath, and as we're holding our breath, our muscles tighten around it, holding that air in. So now our body is in stress trying to hold this air in, and that creates anxiety and stress and physical pain, arthritis. All these things come from this concept of holding this air in as a primal response to fear. The interesting thing is the fastest way to break free of a fear cycle like that is to simply exhale. Just let the air back out. Tell your body physically it is safe by exhaling and relaxing. That's a conscious choice. And when you look at people who become addicted, they are subconsciously making that choice in a different way. What they're doing is they're giving some substance the power to allow them to exhale. Let me give you an example. If I'm an alcoholic and I'm like, man, I need a drink. I need a drink. I need a drink. And then they finally get the drink and they, "Hmm, oh, God, that feels so good." And they exhale. I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette. Oh, God, that feels so good. And they exhale. I need a slice of pizza. I need a slice of pizza. Oh, feels so good. Feels so good. Exhale. Every one of them is followed by the exhale. The reality of it is that drinker, when he takes that first drink, the alcohol hasn't had time to take effect yet. He literally takes the drink and goes, "Oh, I feel so good." Because he's given the substance the power to let him exhale. He's given the substance the power to release the fear, to come back to that place of feeling better and feeling good in the moment. And so the reality of it is the secret and the secret cause of all addiction is our own fears and anxieties. The reason we get stuck in addiction is because we're doing it subconsciously. We don't feel good. We don't associate it with fear, so we don't label it as a fear. And because we don't label it as a fear, we're inside of it. So we don't feel like we have control over the situation. So we find a substance and we give the substance control over the situation. In Star Wars, Yoda said, "Named must your fears be, before banish it you can." You have to name it as fear, recognize that it is a fear, recognize that that experience of negativity that you are living through is a fear-based belief. And when you come to the place of realizing it's a fear-based belief, then you can exhale. Then you can come to the place of saying, okay, this is good. I'm better. You can actually break a cycle of fear simply by choosing just to know that you can release the bad feeling in the present moment by simply exhaling, relaxing all your muscles, shutting off the primal fear response. And when you shut off the primal fear response, the next thing that happens is you feel better. I can't tell you how many people I've helped quit smoking by telling them to take breathing breaks instead of smoking breaks. They go outside, they give themselves that moment of no stress, and what happens? They stop smoking because they're getting the thing the smoking was giving them anyway. And so when you look at it from the aspect of we have the ability to break the addictive cycle at any moment, then it's a matter of then stepping into our power and breaking the cycle, taking this present moment and bringing us back to a place that has no fear, has no anxiety. So when you look at this again, you have this life that you're living, and if you feel negative about it, if you feel angry about it, if you feel stressed about it, those are all fears. Those are all anxieties. If you find yourself needing to have a substance or an experience to break that cycle, that's the addiction. That's the medicine that you've chosen to use to medicate your fears. And when you realize that it's just fear, and I have a quicker, easier, and better way of releasing that, then you don't need the addictions. Most people I talk to don't like the taste of alcohol. That's why they use mixed drinks and they pour it in with other stuff, right? They're just going for that consciousness numbing experience so that they don't have to think anymore. They don't have to feel anymore. They're feeling a buzz sensation rather than a fear-based sensation. And so look at your life. Are there things in your life that you specifically do to make yourself feel better? Ask yourself this question. Why wasn't I feeling better already? What in my life was making me feel negative or stressed or anxious? What in my life was I holding in that I need to find something to let me let it out? When you find those addictions, realize, and the next time you go for that addiction, stop and take a breathing break. Exhale. Recognize the feeling in your body. Recognize the feeling that exhale engenders. And when you recognize that feeling and you acknowledge that it's there, you'll very quickly realize that you are no longer addicted to the substances. You're now addicted to just exhaling. And that's a good thing because you're supposed to have an equal numbers of ins as outs. And exhaling gives you the chance to really let your feeling flow, come back to that consciousness, that direct connection to love that's at the bottom of every breath you take, and you'll never be addicted again except to love itself. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.